is it you pray for?
Hey, greetings and salutations. Welcome to the 40th episode of Abyssal Musings. That's right, you heard me right. We've been on the air for 40 episodes. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and with me is my co-host Lawrence Knight.
Hey everybody, what's going on?
Um, Nomi may join us as she is able a little bit down the road.
What's going on?
Oh, damn it! I forgot to turn the volume down on that. Hold on a second. Um, and but some IRL stuff came up, so she's dealing with that, and we will see her when we see her, and all that. So in the meantime, show must go on, as y'all know.
yeah. Just like I said, just prayers out to everything that Nomi went to go see someone that I don't know how serious it is, but it was serious enough that when she messaged me earlier today, I told her she needed to take tonight off to go ahead and do it because it was more important than the show.
Right. So I mean, and sometimes that's just how things go.
Yeah,
So we miss her, and she should hopefully be back relatively soon.
yeah.
All that. Meantime, we actually have a theme for tonight's show, so that'll be good. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the author Stephen King, who is
Kohai is.
in reality a nutbag and a half, but some of the stuff he wrote is pretty good.
I've never heard him be described as a nutbag and a half.
You haven't seen his Twitter.
I've heard stories.
Yeah, I have. I have seen his Twitter, and it is wild.
Like his
So,
books.
like TDS hit that man hard. You
Well,
know,
I mean, how hard? I mean, what did he get hit with? The Louisville Slugger, or did he get hit with like one of them aluminum bats?
like a train. Like he
Oh,
got hit with the train.
yeah. That's gonna add some velocity to the impact. Yeah, Kohai. I know. I could tell by your memes that you're into Stephen King.
Yep. So we will. Yeah. Yep. Real quick, let's say hello to the chat because I got something I wanna chat with Suka about here. Hi, Kohai. Good to see you. And yeah. Suka says Pervy. It sounds like pervy. It's Russian for first.
Suka, that's the second time he really wanted to make sure. And by the way, Suka, just so you know, um, I could have put first because I saw it about half hour ago,
Yeah,
but I figured you would come back on.
he did,
And
but
I
he
went
put
ahead and let you do it, especially because I don't know if you saw what he put earlier in the day, which is why I didn't get upset. But he told a certain feathered friend of ours to suck it after he said first. So I was like, hey, okay.
hmm yeah. So I responded with Здравствуйте. Or Здравствуйте. Yeah, you're right, Suka. That is hard to pronounce. I used to be able to pronounce it relatively easily, and these days it's a little harder. It's that there's a period. There's about four consonants in a row, five consonants in a row there. Yeah, Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, means hello. So, it's more formal than Privet. Um, yes, Suka, he is a bit of a lefty. Bit hardcore on that. Wants to ban guns. Wants to silence political opponents. Wants to see you know people who took a walking tour through DC go to jail forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's
typical Karl Marx type of stuff.
yeah. And I mean, it just is what it is. But you're gonna get that with a lot of artist types. But I will say also, as much fun as I had with the Cyrillic in the chat there, my Russian actually sucks. I it does. I forget what some of the symbols are pronounced as. It's a whole thing. But still, I appreciate him doing. I appreciate Suka. I appreciate you coming
Well,
at me with
I,
that.
I think you're being too hard on yourself with talking about your Russian and how you're not You're not as good as it. I mean, you were rushing to get here and you made it on time.
Oh, ha ha ha. Yep, there's the first pun of the evening, folks. And it wasn't even this guy who made it.
I'm just saying.
Hey, JB.
I'm just saying. You was rushing to get here, and you're rushing fast too.
Yep. Also, as JB's reminding us in chat, and he did put the link in the chat. He's got a little over a week left to help raise funds for Thunder Rig Foundation of America by purchasing a T-shirt that has bitches on it. You know, that's always good, right? So
Yeah, and if you guys hurry up and buy now, Suka will give you $100. It'll be in Monopoly money, but I mean, you could try to pass it off. Go to the store and try to use it.
okay. Real quick, I did just hear from Nomi. She said she'll be in soon. So
Okie doke.
that good news.
That is good news.
Don't do that.
What? Look, if you got a problem with my voice, all right. If you got a problem with my angelic voice, you can go suck it.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I don't know. So, how was your week, man?
You know what? Um, this week went by quick.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, I just looked up. I was like, "What? Like, dang, it's Friday already."
Yeah, it went by super fast, which is awesome because I had a bunch of shit to do this week that I didn't get done.
What didn't you get done?
Yeah, I got some research for tomorrow that I got to get on later tonight because I haven't had time to deal with it. I've had some other stuff in real life that I needed to get to that I just
You,
did not
you,
have
you mean
time
like
for.
that? You mean like
No,
that?
no, not like that.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty
You
sure.
sure you sure you're not done fixing your car, fixing the conveyor belt in your car? You sure?
That's not a conveyor. That's the whole damn engine, buddy.
Oh, so you're admitting so you running over so your car's running on Python power, huh?
No,
All right.
I friggin' wish.
What's that? The
Pythons
Hulk
are
Hogan?
strong.
It's the Hulk Hogan edition. See,
That's no
wait,
that's
wait,
no
wait.
worse than rednecks and horsepower.
So wait a minute. So you said you wish. So you're admitting that if you could use a snake for your engine, you would do it.
Yeah, but I'm also not taking credit for coming up with that idea.
but 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 yet I'm beating a dead snake, right? I'm beating a dead snake. You just admitted that you would tie a snake to your engine and use it.
I said I would. I didn't say I have.
Probably because it's illegal.
It's I don't know that it is actually. I don't think that that's a thing that's really come up in front of a court before.
Well, I mean, you are in Wyoming.
Yeah. The snakes out here don't get that big. They just don't. And also, when they bite you, you die.
Well, that's scary.
That's what it is. I mean, they're rattlesnakes. I exaggerate a little bit. I mean, if you're near a hospital, you'll probably be okay. Probably.
Yep.
Might have a little lasting nerve damage.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's better than definitely not going to be okay, right?
I mean, yeah. I can't argue with that one. I can't
Yeah.
argue with that one at all.
Goes back to Dumb and Dumber, man. So you're saying there's a chance. So
I was
all right.
speaking of snake, I was watching the my one of my favorite YouTubers, and he's one of the wildlife guys,
Mhm.
and the same one that thought it was a good idea to mess around with one of his crocodiles and got bit in the leg.
Yeah,
He
Chandler.
just Yeah, he decided he's got himself another. It's a female king cobra. I can't say if it's Malaysian or not, but he's talking in the screen. This thing is trying its best to kill him, and he's laughing. He's laughing. This thing it's smacking his head against the ground. It's trying to kill him. Not
Hi, Nomi.
nibble on him.
Hi,
Nomitron.
how's it going?
It's good.
Awesome.
It's good. Nomitron.
Good to hear all of that.
We talked about this, Larry. You weren't going to do that again.
No, you said that. I never agreed. And this is called a celebration because Nomitron.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Don't kill yourself for it.
Some things are worth dying for.
Yeah, I
Thank
wouldn't say
you.
proving a point is one of those things.
Hello, everybody.
Well, as you can see, the demon memer is among other people is that they're happy to see you here.
I'm happy to see them too. It's been a week, so I'm happy to hang out with everybody here.
Yeah, please keep that small all the way through October because I think I created a monster with Kohai. I don't think I should have given her that nickname because now I'm kind of worried about October. I'm like, I don't know what she's gonna do.
Oh, it's going to be a blast, man.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this October is gonna be crazy.
Dude, speaking of memers, so I was watching F&T earlier today, right? And I haven't sat down through a whole episode of F&T in a while, mostly because Brian's show comes on before they get over, and I switch over to support my buddy as opposed to people who I like to watch but I don't actually know. So, you know, and one of the Legion of memers, and I forget which one it was, I'll have to look it up, put out a meme that I like. Do you know who Odin from OMB Reviews is? I know Nomi does.
I haven't the foggiest.
Okay, so he's one of the numbers guys. He's one of the guys who gets really into the box office numbers and projections and that sort of thing. He's also a very devout Catholic, and he gets kind of upset sometimes with some of the directions of the humor on there. And so they took him and they took Melanie Mack, who I know you know who that is.
Yeah, I like Mel.
And they memed their faces into one of the darkest, most hilarious memes I've ever seen in my life. So you know Melanie Mack's got this thing about butter, right?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, she eats sticks of butter.
She's a carnivore, so she only eats butter and meat. That's her diet, and eggs sometimes. Maybe
okay,
cheese.
but I'm guessing it sounds like Samuel's saying that she eats sticks of butter by itself.
Yes.
No, she
like
does.
a banana. Yeah.
Yes.
There's video of her doing it.
Yeah, there's a video of her like eating the stick of butter as is in the car.
Hey,
when she just purchased it.
Yeah, and talking about something else has nothing to do with butter. She's just munching on the thing while she's waxing eloquent about something else. Anyway, yeah, that's what, like JV says, that's what she snacks on. So what they did was they put Odin's face on this guy's face in a toilet stall, and there's a little window that's got Melanie Mack with this like evil looking grin peeking through, and there's a glory hole with a stick of butter coming through.
Does she know about it?
Oh yeah, she was on the panel when they showed it.
Oh my gosh.
So was Odin, but he was away from his desk at the moment, so I don't think he saw it. But that was
poor Odin. Like he just wants to hang out with his friends and talk about actual pop culture, and the dirty humor comes in. He doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah,
he just wants to rule Asgard forever.
Yeah,
something like that. I always wondered how that works, because I mean he's a bald guy with a beard, so you know I kind of get the resemblance. But if he was really going to go for that whole Odin look, he should put his right eye out. Don't do that, Odin, or YouTube. I didn't. That was just a joke.
Didn't mean it. It was a biblical reference, technically. So yes.
Yeah,
he was quoting scripture.
Right. It's in no way a suggestion that he harm himself.
Yeah.
No. In the mythology, that's why Odin only has one eye, though, is because he traded his eye for 9 knowledges that no one else in the universe had, which allowed him to basically rule everything.
if he became that powerful, couldn't he have given himself another eye?
And no, because a price is a price is a price. Even the gods are subject to paying them.
He could make himself like a plastic eye or something and just stick it in there so he doesn't have to wear the eye patch.
Usually it's the eye patch. You know, yeah. I mean, yeah, he could have done like a wooden eye or something, I guess.
I mean,
So
hey, look, he made Mjolnirs. I mean, he could have made himself like a Mjolnir eye or something.
actually, that was the
Or was that that was
that was the dwarves as far as I
dwarves,
find.
right?
Yeah.
He put the spell on it, correct?
Nope, that was them too.
I thought Odin was the one that put the whole thing saying that,
Yeah,
Thor only.
in Marvel in the Marvel universe, yes. In Norse mythology, no.
Oh,
You know, like the same dwarves who made Mjolnir also made Odin's spear Gungnir, for example. Yeah.
oh,
It-
okay.
yeah, no, the Marvel deviates from the Norse myth quite a bit.
Well, I mean they've got to make some part of it their own.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, yes and no. It's like you wouldn't do it because it would piss too many people off. But like Super Mohammed is not copyrightable. You know, for
Right.
example. So no, they didn't really have to do that. They put their own spin on it so that it would be theirs, but it wasn't necessarily because they were going to get in trouble with anybody. And the fact of the matter is and actually Stan Lee's had there was an interview with him where he talked about an essay that he wrote where he talked about coming up with Thor, and he was like, at this point, I'd created the Fantastic Four, I'd created Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, the X-Men. Or no, the X-Men came later, I think. But anyway, he was just saying, he's like, where do I go from there? Super God? Which gave him the idea to actually do something like that. And he figured that Norse mythology would probably piss off the least amount of people. So that's why they went that direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Greeks, right? It's just their belief system, right?
That they haven't first. No, it's the Norse.
Norse, excuse me, not the
But
Greeks.
but yeah, they later incorporated Greek mythology too, and obviously DC did that with like Wonder Woman and whatnot. And as far as the accuracy of that goes, like the fact of the matter is the vast majority of people who used to worship those religions don't anymore. They're long dead. They're not practiced widely anymore.
Well, he put a lot of thought in it.
Yeah, and this was back in the 60s, so
60s, yeah.
so it was a good call on his part. But yeah, everything that he did with that and everything that that came out of that was Jack Kirby put into it, because really a lot of that was Jack Kirby's baby.
Yep.
But it was based very, very loosely on characters from Norse mythology, but they really put a lot of their own spin into it. Like Loki being Thor's adopted brother, right?
Yeah.
That's not a thing in the mythology. He's not. He's Odin's blood brother. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much on this show.
I know a thing or two about a thing or two, but not a lot about any one thing.
So, how's your week been, Nomi?
It's been good. It's been interesting. And then I don't know if you can see, I'm
You're freezing?
freezing.
Oh, okay. So you can. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
It
I'm
just
sorry.
froze. Your hands.
Sorry,
Your
sorry.
hands were up, and you had a big old smile on your face. So I was like, "Oh, well, I guess she froze." Yep, exactly how it was.
Okay.
Pretty
I did that intentionally, but I'm setting up my new streaming setup, so hence I got this.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been a week. Today was a little hard, but just dealing with a little bit of life stuff.
Yeah.
Going through it, but it is what it is. But got to keep going through the motions of life.
Well,
Pretty
you know what they
good.
say: life doesn't stop until you do.
That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So, I was gonna ask you, have you given any thoughts on going on another cruise? Because since you got off, every time I go on a video, look up, I just go on YouTube. It's just at random. and there's always something going on a cruise, and it's always carnival. And it's
Yeah, I've noticed
I mean,
that.
have you heard about the fist fights that's been breaking out on Carnival? And I think a Carnival ship just ran into a dock.
Yeah, I saw that one. But the recent one that I saw, it came from Barstool Sports, and it was the Carnival cruise ship going through a storm, so people are leaving the deck, and there's a mom with her kid and the stroller, and a lawn chair or like a relaxing chair just comes out of nowhere and plummets the kid and the mom down to the ground. I shouldn't laugh at it, but it was so funny because the wind and the chairs just blowing everywhere and the chairs plowing down people was hilarious. So yeah, it's
I
all
saw that one.
carnival. Yeah.
I think I saw that one. That's where the guy got smacked in the back of the head. He got
Yeah.
smacked in the back of the head with a chair too.
Yeah, that not. I wish my cruise was exciting like that, but nothing like that happened on my cruise. It was so boring. Besides me
Well, you
getting
were. Wait a
seasick.
minute. Well, weren't you asleep for like half of it?
Yeah, I was asleep for half of it
You could have
because
dreamt
like
about it.
I could have. No, I had some weird dreams because I took Dramamine on my cruise. I never had Dramamine before. Because when we were disembarking, I felt the motion instantly. It's like, okay, this is not gonna go well with me. And then 30 minutes in, I was like, no, I need to take something now. My friend's like, hey, like, try this Dramamine. It's like, okay, like, it will cure
Maybe.
motion sickness. And I remember we were on the fun part of the cruise deck where they do the sky rides and mini golf. I did one of like the little bicycle air skyline rides, whatever it is.
Mm.
After I got off, it's like I'm getting a little sleepy, even though I just woke up maybe an hour ago, but I'm still tired. I'll just take a little nap. That little nap knocked me out for 8 hours.
Yep.
It sounds
Yeah.
like a good nap.
It was a good nap. I thought I was asleep for 30 minutes.
Yeah, you were out.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
was out.
you lucky man. Well, I wouldn't have done it, but I have some friends. You would have woke up looking like a clown. They would have marked your face up. You'd have had makeup. You'd have had lipstick on your eyebrows and everything.
Nope. My friends damn well know not to do any of that with me.
You imagine she's got like a red lipstick dildo on her forehead. What, you guys didn't do that with your drunk friends?
Nope.
Oh, we put their hands we put warm water and did a whole warm water in a bowl trick and put their hands in it to see if they would wet themselves. Never
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah, that one doesn't work, but the one where you fill their hand with like whipped cream and then tickle their nose, that one works.
Yeah, we did that. We put shaving cream on his face. We put it on his cheek and in his hand. He slapped himself after we tickled his nose, and he jumped up. Man, he was screaming. He was so mad. But we were like, would you rather we do that or some of the other stuff? Because we had to talk some people down from what they were gonna do, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Why don't we?
Ever-
The old whipped cream will work just enough. But yeah, I saw fights breaking out. The big thing that I've been seeing this week is people getting left. There was
Wait, people getting what?
getting left because they didn't get back to the ship on time. There's a video I saw yesterday of this little girl and her parents running for the dock. I mean, full Olympic sprint. And what got me was that the ship's captain actually waited for them, but the other captains for the other people didn't. He took off right in their face.
Wow. I've never heard stories like that, but I can imagine like if you got stranded at a little dock area, what would you do? I thought of that scenario, and thankfully I speak Spanish. If I got left behind, I know how to communicate, how to get to the next place to get picked up.
Yeah. Well, what they
Right.
were saying is that if you have your passport on you, like apparently that there's a whole protocol when ships dock at these places. There's I mean, of course it's gonna cost you money, but you've got your passport. They'll help you get to the next port of call, but you gotta pay for it. But if you don't have your passport, then they'll take you to the American consulate, and now you gotta pay for a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I said, they'll help you, but
Hmm.
you're gonna make it back owing some money.
Okay, good to know. But yeah, I never had an issue with missing the boarding and disembarking.
That's
I was
good.
I was always on time.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's kind of like the way the buses, the cross country buses in the States run. If you are not on that bus when it's time to go, you're not going with the bus.
Hmm.
It's that simple. If they let you off and they say 10 minutes, they mean 10 minutes.
Yep.
Not a second longer.
Yeah, and the trippy thing too is from what I learned is that of course there's a difference between the time of wherever you're at and ship time. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in, is that people they start confusing the ship time with the time of the place that they're at. So they're looking at the Apple Watch or whatever, they think they got an hour and they really got 15 minutes.
Well, how far out are they going? Really? I mean,
They
'cause
must be
there's only
going.
like 2 time zones in the Caribbean.
I don't know, man. And from my understanding, you get a considerable amount of time. I mean, when they dock there, uh, some ships are there for a while. I mean, no, I mean, you probably know better than I do how long a ship will dock at a dock somewhere.
Depending where we went to, the first two stops, we got there at 6 in the morning, and you were allowed to get off the ship at 8, and you had to be on the ship by 5, like no later than 5. Because if you're, what Samuel said, if you're not on that ship by 5, you're gone. Like, well, that ship is gone.
Yeah, so you've got what, 7, 8 hours maybe?
Hmm.
Fair enough. Fair
About,
enough.
yeah. So it gives you time to explore the city, do the little touristy things, enjoy the food. Yeah,
As long as you stay within the touristy areas, anyway.
that's very true. And then also making sure that you're not gonna get slipped in a little package in your bag that you're not aware of, because people, especially locals over there in what was the last spot? Oh my gosh, there was one of the spots that we had to be cautious with, because they had literal bricks of cocaine. Like, cocaine, like, you want cocaine? Like, no, like, we don't
Wow.
know. Like, yeah, because it's legal there, and they were trying to sell it, but they'll try to ruin your life by putting a brick or a bag while you're not aware, putting it in your bag.
Why? Because they think it's funny?
Yeah, I think it's funny. They're losing money. That's the way I see it.
Hey, there's Nomi. Let's put a brick in her bag. I saw
No,
this video. Hmm?
I'm a light traveler, so I will notice anything different if I'm carrying
Yeah.
something on me.
Yeah. I saw this video. Um, and I guess this lady I don't know if she was traveling through Brazil or where, but she went through the scanner in the airport, and they saw something. They pulled her aside, pulled her into security agents. They checked her, and I want to say it was Brazil, and they made the lady take off her pants and her underwear. And one of the female guards put on some gloves, and I was like, I know she's not about to do what I think she's about to do. She makes the lady spreads her legs, reaches inside her, and pulls out a full brick of cocaine.
Okay, no, no.
Yes, I
And
saw it.
I know that that's a huge possibility, Samuel. I've seen stories like that, and I've been told stories of from my
Do you,
friends who
do you know how
are
big a brick of cocaine is? It's literally the size of a brick.
maybe not like a brick, but like
No,
big.
this
Yeah,
one it was the size. It was literally as wide as a brick. I was just like I was flabbergasted.
Well, then
I
she
I,
was
I
prolapsed something fierce.
or she gave birth to something huge. Jeez.
Yeah, but hey, but you know what though? I mean, given 10 weeks ago yesterday, my wife gave birth to my daughter, and my daughter's about the most broad-shouldered baby I've ever seen. She was literally the size of a 1 month old. So if my wife pushed her out, then that brick didn't seem so big compared to my daughter, who was 21 inches
Right,
coming
I
out
get
of my wife.
I get that, but there is a lot of the body prepares a lot to pass a human being through there, right? It doesn't just happen,
Well,
you know.
look, I can't. I don't know what to tell you, man. I know what I saw. I saw the video. I saw them pull it out of her. I'm not exaggerating. I know
Yeah,
what I saw.
no, I believe you. I'm just thinking that maybe they just needed like an industrial sized speculum or something to get it in there in the first
No,
place.
the lady reached her hand in. Now my guess is, if this lady, she's probably, it's probably not the first time she's done it, and she's probably so used to doing it that her body just, you know, just adapted to it.
So she
Uh,
was, yeah. So she was like, it was like a hot dog down a hallway
yeah,
situation.
and it
Like,
was, and she was an older lady. She wasn't young. She had to be somewhere. I would say somewhere in her late 40s. That's how she looked. No telling how long she's been smuggling stuff. But I don't believe it was her first time. And if she's been doing it like that, for a considerable amount of time, then it's reasonable for me to believe that, hey, her body's so used to it that it was nothing to her, but shocking to me.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen some like wild stuff with the elasticity of female genitalia, but I just the way you described it seems a little, little hard to believe right off the bat. Like,
Oh,
because when I think brick of cocaine, right, I think a packaged brick of cocaine, which has, it's rectangular.
yes, I know, and that's
Like,
what
what
and
was the
that's what was
width?
pulled.
What was the length? Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
No,
You want,
that's my question.
you want me to try to find the video and we'll show it. I'll show
No.
it after the show.
No. I
I have
don't need to
no
see this.
problems finding it.
Lion King, welcome to the show.
Hi.
You This is not a great part of the conversation to walk into, but you're welcome to be here.
Like I said, man, I don't know what to tell you. I know what I saw. It's not an exaggeration. Shoot, Nomi cut out. I think Nomi went to go find the video.
JV, the kind of wild stuff I'm not going to describe live. I don't know. Hit me up later. So,
Yeah. So, Nomi, I was wondering, did you hear about there's a lady somewhere in Colorado that doesn't like people like you, and
That's an average Coloradan, honestly. So
so you saw the lady was at the pool and was cussing us. She was like, "You damn Mexicans having a Mexican party in the pool," and she just went into a whole racist tirade, started screaming and hollering at him.
I haven't seen that video, but like I said, that's a stereotypical Coloradan. To
she's
kind of
not
go on
wrong.
that route. Yeah, she's
Yeah, she's Nomi's not wrong here. I lived in Colorado for a long time, and you had your Colorado. You had people who were descendants of Mexicans, who uh, born and raised in Colorado, and a lot of those guys have that same attitude. Actually,
yeah.
it's not necessarily about skin color so much as it is about immigration. In most cases, there's some racist stuff there, and there's some people who have issues with that and all that. But yeah, it's pretty typical in Colorado. You got Mexicans and you got Coloradans, and they don't usually see eye to eye.
Nope.
Yeah, here's a video.
You have a thought? Two people. You have a Mexican party in the pool. Trash. Oh yeah, you can't do that. You can't just record me.
Hey, pause this for a second. Hey, Lion King. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's very cool. As far as you're being 17 tonight, just be aware that I probably won't address too much because we do get a little bit into the realm of like adult topics and stuff, that kind of thing. So just be aware of that. This
Yeah,
isn't really a
yeah.
channel
Now,
for minors, but I have no problem with you watching and all that stuff or commenting. I just want you to be aware of that.
yeah, well, depending on the state, the Lion King is, the legal age is 16. Just throwing it out there, but that's not saying that I don't agree with what you're saying. I'm just throwing out as many disclaimers as I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, please draw your own conclusions. This is our thoughts only. We're not yelling or berating people for having different views or beliefs than us. We're here to just hang out and talk.
Yeah,
Yep.
this
and
is
what Beak said, viewer discretion and all that stuff. I just got to make that clear because you announced your age. There's a whole thing about that with YouTube and like bylaws and shit. So
yeah.
it's not you. It's just kind of the way things are. So I had to say this.
Yeah, it's all right. Continue on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so
Oh, you guys
sorry.
are such losers.
I'm so sorry.
Great.
Gosh, dang it, Larry.
It wasn't me. It was Sam Head over here.
It needed to be done.
No, I'm not blaming you. It's just now we've got to start the damn thing over.
You have the Mexican party in the pool. Trash. Oh yeah, you can't do that. You
Yes, we
can't
can.
just record me.
You
I'm so
spam.
sorry. I'm so
Oh, you guys
sorry.
are such losers.
I'm so
Go
sorry.
back down to Denver.
Please, I don't.
I live here. I live here. Nowhere where you ever came from, you low class slime. Oh my God, it's so dumb, and you're wearing it at the pool, you idiot.
Okay, so I don't know if that's copyrighted or not, but I tell you what, within a couple of hours of me catching this earlier, well now yesterday for me, within a couple of hours, people knew everything about her. They knew where she was, where she worked. They had her full name, middle, everything. All her business was in the New York Post. I was like, wow, and the Daily Mail. They had all her business, and I was like, man.
I gotta point something out here. So she calls them all low class slime.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's a direct quote. The bit where she's got a thong so far up her butt she can taste it and she bends over to rub it against that guy who's walking past and they're low class.
Yeah. And not only that, I think that was an apartment complex too. So she's part of the problem. She's part of the issue that she has a problem with.
But and you know what? And Sam, I don't buy what you just said. You know why? Because I think that if you were there and off camera, well, I think you might have slipped her your phone number.
Look, I ain't saying I wouldn't hit it. I just said that, she's got no call to call him, low class.
I had something to say about that, but I'm not gonna say it. I got something else. I got another video for you guys. I caught this one. Yeah, happy birthday, Lion King.
Absolutely, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I'd sing to you, but you don't want to hear that. It's awful.
Thanks for wanting to hang out with us. We're just a bunch of three weirdos that are just chatting, and we're glad that you're hanging out.
JV's right there with me. He's like, "Yep, right there with you, buddy." Like, I mean, look, she wasn't bad looking. She's just had an ugly attitude.
Yeah, ugly attitude, but she's not goth, JV. So it's not someone that you'd want to.
You could throw some corpse paint on her. He'll be fine.
The Corpse Bride, her wedding song will be "Living Dead Girl."
No. Well, corpse paint is a specific kind of makeup that's used in the metal and goth scene. It's got very little to do with the Tim Burton movie.
Oh, I thought it was like the makeup that morticians put on dead bodies.
No, you're thinking of you're just thinking of basically the makeup that they do when they dress up a corpse. What corpse paint is like you know the band Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how their faces are covered in black and white of varying patterns?
Mm-hmm.
That's corpse paint.
Okay.
It's like war paint, but with corpse instead of war. So it's just it's an aesthetic thing in metal and goth communities, and has been for a long time.
Gotcha.
Kiss technically is wearing corpse paint.
Like Kiss, the Crow, the Crow. Gotcha. That movie, Dead Presidents. So this one, right, in honor of 4th of July, I figured you guys would need a laugh, and this is why, as much as I love fireworks, this is why I don't mess with it.
Hold it. Oh, it's gonna be right there. You cannot stick it in the ground. It's not gonna work.
Who did that?
Oh, it's about to get much worse. Yeah, I didn't want to take the wind out of your sails, buddy. We showed this on Screaming into the Void last July, right after this was initially posted on the internet.
I don't care.
I mean, it's a great video.
It's a
but-
classic video.
Yeah,
Yep, JV, exactly. Get that baby out of there.
yeah.
You know, that little kid first, he got his first little taste and he got away from the truck, didn't he?
He got away from that truck real bit.
But there was a little baby that was right in the middle of that. They, it was like, you don't want to be that close to the fireworks, like ever. That's just completely irresponsible.
And that's why I don't mess with it. And here's my last gift for you guys before we get into tonight's main topics. 4th of July fails, as you can see.
Yeah, I've seen that too. That.
I mean, I wouldn't call like the tanning as a fail. I think that's like the most creative thing you can do to your body.
Yeah, but look, that's a 5. U5A. That's a 5.
It still sends the message.
Right. I saw a cake like that not long ago, and it was all done up, had a big maple leaf on it, red maple leaf on a white frosting and all that stuff. But when you sliced into it, it was the red, white, and blue, and it was gifted to a Canadian.
Well, I'm sure Bo was pissed about that. Let's see what this guy.
Oh, yeah. JV says that's not a tan. That's he
That's
waxed
shade.
that
You know
off.
what?
Oh, ow!
Ooh.
Look at that. Look at that. I see. This guy's been in JV's closet.
It's more like Ryan's closet.
I mean, I would date
Star
a guy who
Spangled
dresses
booty
like that.
shorts. Star Spangled booty shorts.
Our buddy Ryan is feeling under the weather tonight, so he didn't go on. And but what I bet it is I bet he got the shorts on a little bit too tight. They shrank in the wash or something, and he just can't breathe.
I can't get them off.
They're George Floyding him.
This hits hard. I can't tell you how many guys I've seen lose it when I was in service. Man, my girlfriend's husband fights for your freedom. Here's another one. Yeah.
See that I would love to dress like that. Very patriotic. Doesn't care if it's outdated fashion. I'd still wear it.
I love the dude, standing at attention with his hand over his heart.
Yep. It's JV's mascot. That's actually kind of cool, though. You got the little glasses.
I have
going on.
never understood the need to put clothing on animals. It just seems humiliating.
Oh,
I put
you wait.
hoodies on my dogs.
Yeah, you wait. Now that I think about it, I skimmed through this and I saw something that.
Oh.
That's Murica.
Yeah, that's definitely Murica.
I kind of
That's
love
it.
it, actually. You know what? I could see Adam from Vets Talking doing something like that.
I can see JT Gunn doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see JT doing that.
Yeah, I can see him doing that. Brian too, actually. Cynthia.
Star Spangled Ding Dong.
And the Rockets' red glare, right?
I'm really tempted to make a Red Rocket joke here, but I'm not gonna.
Is that JT?
Hey, Lion King, I did try to warn you.
We warned
Just
you.
saying.
We warned you. And there you are.
Why would you?
That looks severely photoshopped.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody with comment. I don't see anybody with a functioning brain. First of all, I don't see a cat
Sitting still long enough for
sitting
that?
still long enough for that.
Yeah.
That has to be
Because
Photoshop.
Because that's like precision work, man. There's no way a cat's gonna sit still long enough for you to die like that.
Heck no. And first of all, they would have to sedate the cat for who knows how long. and she damn sure didn't do that because her face wouldn't look the same.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that you no.
Yeah,
Does it
yeah, no
does
me.
it come with a complimentary Russian hooker?
Nomi's like,
I,
okay.
I'm gonna be honest. Still, my innocence. I don't know what that means.
You don't.
Uh,
Yeah, okay, so a golden shower is a reference in fetishism that refers to water sports or being peed on.
yes,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
golden shower.
yeah,
That
mouth
makes
open, the
okay.
whole nine. Yeah, yeah.
Now I know. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, which, by the way, is something that Trump was accused of years ago by Hillary and company of doing to a Russian prostitute in a hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why you asked for the.
One of the
Yeah,
many lies that they spread about it.
or that he paid her to pee on him or something. I don't know, but the golden shower was involved. That is a horrendous dye job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Dale Jr.'s number, I believe. Dale Earnhardt Jr., I believe he's 88.
Hey, that reminds me. What does Dale Earnhardt and Pink Floyd have in common?
I don't know.
Their last big hit was The Wall.
Wow.
Boom, tsh,
Wow.
You see it, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Made in China
Yeah, I've actually seen those in person. You could
for Julie.
Julie. I like to maintain and keep my innocence as much as possible, Beak.
Don't get it twisted though. She still has that broken bottle award hanging on her mantle.
It's on that wall over there.
I don't know what these are supposed to be.
Chocolate
That's
covered
the
bananas.
Yeah,
ugh. Okay.
I don't know that that's a treat for me, but somebody would probably enjoy those. I don't know. I don't see what you don't really need to add anything to a banana.
Well, there you go,
Almonds.
Sam. Here, go ahead and do your
Nutella.
job as your civic duty as an American.
I mean, the one on the right ain't that bad.
I don't know how you could tell. Independence. Independence Day.
Yeah. College took them far.
That's yeah. It's clearly misspelled. It also kind of looks like they're not sensitive to their colorblind neighbors.
Yeah, for real.
Hmm.
Nailed it. U20. Oh, wow.
That's a hard pass.
It's a hard no for me, or it's a hard no for Sam.
Yeah, that's a soft pass for me. Ain't nothing getting hard looking at that. Yeah. Don't know what that's supposed to be.
That looks like road rash.
Shoot, that's some serious road rash.
I don't know, man. Some kind of fur.
Some jacked up fur.
See, I'd wear those pants.
Well, they would look fine on you know me, but him and those look like bell bottoms too.
I know. I like a
I don't
man
know.
who's
He's got
brave.
that kind of 70s porno stash too, though, so that could be an old picture.
It does look old though, like 80s. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's just some shorts.
Lion King, yes, I did actually retweeted that with you first because apparently their headquarters is sitting on traditional native land too.
Yeah, yeah. And I like the response that people were saying. They were like, "Okay, well, set the example. Give all the money that you're making. Give it to all the people that you're championing for. Give up your property. Give up everything. That shut them up real quick."
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got dragged pretty hard. What? Hold up. What's that? That looks like a bunch of melted peeps with sprinkles on.
I don't know what those are.
It looks like
That
a
looks
marshmallow
disgusting.
salad.
I thought they like half melted those animal crackers, the ones that's got the sprinkles on them.
Oh yeah, the frosted animal
Yeah.
crackers.
Yeah, I
It's
thought
like
that's
a
what those were.
it's like a marshmallow casserole, maybe.
I don't know what that is. It's dang ugly.
Yeah, that doesn't look like
But it
that.
might
Looks
be
like
dang
that looks like
delicious.
what comes back up after you eat something like that, not what it starts out as.
Yeah, that looks like some kind of weird. Whoops.
See ya.
Sorry, folks. Hold on. I had technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
Lion King peeps have been around for a very long time. We've all tried that.
I think since the 70s.
They're not good. Nobody likes peeps, and people who say that they do are probably reptilians in human disguise.
Yep. And they're getting on flights and scaring people.
I didn't boycott Ben and Jerry. I'm not technically boycotting them now. I just haven't bought any of their ice cream for a while because it's a luxury. Ice cream in general is a luxury, and
Yeah.
it's just not something that I go out of my way to buy anymore. So it's kind of like the Bud Light thing. Everybody was boycotting that. I didn't really boycott it because I don't drink Bud Light.
Because I know
I've
what real
never
beer
tasted
is.
Bud Light. I've never tried Bud Light anyway. I hear that it's dang near water.
Yeah, but so's regular Budweiser. It's
There we go.
not. I got friends who call it American piss water, and it kind of is. It's the blandest thing you can find on the market
But people drink so much of it.
because it's cheap and it's bland. Like those
Man, that's it.
artisanal artisanal like lagers and stuff, man. Some of those are fucking bitter. Right. This isn't bitter. It's just bland. It's something you can just like have whenever, and not think too much about. And
Gotcha.
that's why people have been going to Anheuser-Busch for so long. Is because, I mean, I'm gonna have to say it here. White people have boring taste buds.
They do. Yes. I know people
Wow.
If we're
I know
honest,
people I know people who think ketchup is spicy.
What?
No, I'm 100%
one
real.
of my
I have
kids
friends.
thinks ketchup is too spicy.
It's the vinegar in ketchup that makes them think
Yeah.
it's spicy.
She won't even eat pepperoni. She thinks that's too spicy of a meat.
Funny. Me, I like spicy things. Put extra jalapenos on it. I'm a fan.
Okay.
Real quick, The Lion King. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's what parents do.
Yeah.
It's parents embarrass their kids. It's kind of part of the
Hey.
job description. I'm a parent. I embarrass my kids. Sometimes I do it on purpose. And I
Hey.
will have to point out that you did wander into a chat full of strangers and also announce it was your birthday. So I don't know how much grief you can give your parents.
Well, look, enjoy it while you can, because this time next year they might be asking you for rent money.
Yeah, there's that too. But seriously, as far as the embarrassment goes, man, just enjoy the time that you have with them.
Yeah, trust me, because
none of us know how long that's going to be.
Yeah, and once you hit 18, the world instantly changes for you. People who had time, they were humoring a lot of things that you're doing. This time next year, they'll be like, "Yeah, it's not funny anymore."
Mm-hmm. So
I almost forgot about this. Nomi, have you ever been to a bullfight?
Describe a bullfight, because I've been to plenty of things that involves bulls.
Well, I mean, not necessarily a bullfight, but
like
kind of like
rodeos.
Yeah, like rodeos, or where people seem to think it's okay to kind of antagonize and tease the bull because they think they're safe. They think they're safe. Well, this video, and I just found this minutes before we came on. But this bull wasn't playing. Viewer discretion is definitely advised.
Hell yeah, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah, he thought about it. He didn't have the space. Tap him on the head. Yep, that's it.
Oh, yep, yep.
I think it's so stupid that people start screaming in fear, like, "Oh no, the bull's now attacking us!" Well, you provoked it for so long.
Now, my question is, I'm wondering if that must be like concrete because that guy, it looked like the bull just barely brushed him and he just fell over.
Yeah, well, that was in Spain, right?
Yeah.
It's probably getting more. It's about time of year for Pamplona, isn't it? Or getting close to.
I want to know.
So, where they do the running of the bulls, and
Oh, I think it's already happening. I already seen videos.
yeah, this is probably related to that.
Why
Um,
do that though?
because I don't know.
I don't understand why. Why
I don't know, man. Spaniards are nuts. Their king and queen paid a random Italian a bunch of money to take 3 boats across an ocean nobody had ever been to the other side of before. I mean, Spaniards do crazy shit.
And then fuck up my culture. So, yeah.
Hey, no,
Let me just
no.
slip that in there.
I'm gonna tell you this now, Nomi. Their heritage is also your heritage.
I know. I know.
force.
So
I
their
know.
culture is also your culture, as well
By
as
force,
the native
Nomi.
culture.
I know. Gooby didn't consent though.
Nobody did across the entire world. Nobody ever consents to being conquered. That's just the way it
I
goes.
didn't ask to be born.
No, most of the various Chinese didn't really consent to being dominated by the Han for 5,000 years, but here we are. It's just it is what it is, man. Everybody conquers everybody else at some point. Whoever's stronger comes out on top. And frankly, the Spaniards had firepower and smallpox on their side.
That's very true.
Didn't they rely mostly on smallpox?
Depends on the area and the time period. Because there were later on things that happened where the smallpox was less effective because the natives had developed a resistance to it, kind of thing. But it had been raging through them for a while. It killed a bunch of people, but eventually a herd immunity kicks in, which is why even though it does happen, it pops up every once in a while. It's still not that prevalent pretty much anywhere anymore. Although I heard it's making a resurgence in certain parts of Asia. But yeah, again, it depends on the time period and exactly which part of the Americas you're talking about. Like Pizarro's expedition to South America when he encountered the Incas.
Mm-hmm.
Very little in the way of like transmission of diseases, kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure some of that occurred. It always does when you get two cultures who have no contact with each other meeting for the first time. Excuse me. But of course, the Incas weren't dumb like the Aztecs and welcomed him in. They figured out pretty quickly what Pizarro was after, and he was on the whole, God, gold, and glory kick that most of the conquistadors were into at the time. They figured it out, and they're like, "Oh, you want gold, do you?" You know what they did? They poured molten gold down his throat.
Ooh, ouchie.
They gave him a golden shower.
They gave him exactly what he asked for, but it killed him.
Well, I mean, he asked for it. He wanted a golden shower. They gave it to him. No, my eye ask questions about your lineage. I'm curious as to your past and your heritage and because it's easy to say yeah I'm Mexican, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more to it than that because I mean of course coming from having been raised and lived in LA for several years, it's not saying it's a joke. No two Mexicans are the same, and you say one thing and one was fine with it, and you say something to another one, next thing you know you're in a fight you didn't ask for.
Yep. We just take everything, I don't know, either face value or we really didn't like what you said. But yeah, as far as on my mom's side, my mom is actually Spaniard. So my mom's lineage goes all the way. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but how I'm
So your
Jewish,
mom conquered your dad.
basically. Yeah. And
So she's a
She-
colonizer, technically.
Did she colonize him with a smallpox blanket?
nope.
No, me, I'm sorry.
No. My great grandmother was the one who came. The best way to describe it is that my great grandmother migrated from Spain to Mexico, fleeing the Nazi regime.
So during Franco's time, then.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because the Franco wasn't technically a Nazi, but he was a fascist.
Yeah, I remember that correctly.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, well, glad she got out then, because that time was pretty horrific.
I'll have to read more into it because I don't know a lot about that. But all I just know is that my great grandmother left Spain to be in Mexico. I don't know anything about my great grandpa. Very little about him. But my grandparents came from Delicias, Chihuahua, and then to the States with my mom and my uncle. So if you see my mom's white as snow, but my uncle, he's brown. And my brother and I we're brown, and you see my sister, she's white as snow. And we all come from same biological parents. And we found out that we are Sephardic Jews, so we have Jewish lineage as well in our bloodline. So we're Mexican Jews. That's the best way to describe it.
That's an interesting mix, though, too, because typically Jewish ancestry that's over in the Americas, a lot of it is Ashkenazi.
I've heard a lot. Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't hear too much about Sephardic.
Yeah, we're an unknown race, culture, person. Mainly race. We're an unknown race, but yeah, we're Mexican Jews. We do exist, and there are dozens of us.
Fear us, for we shall rise in our dozens.
No, we said we're a small army. So hey, so I wanted to ask you, because I know we messaged earlier, and you said that you had some Nomi stuff for us today. What you got?
Oh no, I didn't. I don't have anything lined up. I'll go ahead and share a little bit about it. It's going to be a sad story. So it's not really Nomi stuff. So Larry, when you messaged me earlier, I was at a hospice. There was this little girl that I babysat for all of her life. Her family is good family friends of ours. We grew up with them, and their kids are younger than me. I think the oldest is 22 now. Well, the reason why I was in hospice, the little girl that I would babysit, she unfortunately passed about an hour and a half ago. So I was saying my goodbyes. I got a phone call early this morning saying that she's in her last moments. It was pretty hard to see her in the state that she was in. And yeah, I got the message at 7:30 that she passed on. So it was a hard day. That's why I was mentioning that. It's, I don't know if anybody's gone through like hardships like that or have really gone through grievances. It's weird when it's someone that you grew up with and had a small impact in their lives, like taking care of them as a babysitter. And now that they're gone, it's just weird because I that void is gone now. And her mom was the main person in her life to take care of the kids. She's at peace with it. So is her siblings. And before her health started declining drastically, I remember one of her conversations saying that she wasn't afraid. So it's kind of peaceful knowing that she's not in pain anymore. She had an inoperable tumor behind her spinal cord. Couldn't do anything. It became cancerous 2 years ago. Doctors did whatever they could, and it was just impossible for her to get any type of procedure or any type of cure for that.
Right. We did. That's right. Because you did discuss with me that something was going on, and I remember saying, hey, it's that's definitely the moment you said hospice, I was like, man, nothing's more important than that. You know.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, like I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer on this.
no, no, not at all.
She
Like you
was
guys are.
12.
Wow.
She was
Jesus, I'm
12
sorry to
years
hear
old.
that.
Full of life. And that's what we take joy in, even though she had such a short lifespan here on Earth with us, and we still consider her as a gift.
Mm,
Yeah, she knew something was wrong. They never told her that she had an um, inoperable
mm,
tumor, basically. She knew that she was not doing well in her health, and she was okay with it. It's weird to hear that from a 12-year-old saying like, yeah, like I'm okay. Like you still have like a life ahead of you. Like it's I don't know how I can feel that. So I feel like I've learned from her in the little life that she had, and it still impacted me. So yeah, guys, if you're listening, chat, just value those who you don't think that just value who that's in your life. You don't know what's going on in them,
mhm.
medical wise, where something can come up out of nowhere, and next thing you know, it's gone.
Yeah.
What Samuel said earlier to Lion King, yeah, just enjoy your life. The way how I see my life is too short to be serious, and that's why I like being silly and making jokes a lot, because I'd rather live a life full of laughter and fun with love versus being taken serious and no one liking you. So yeah, just gotta seize the moment, and then if you're always afraid, if you've been afraid to try something new, and you're afraid that you're doing it alone, it doesn't hurt to do something alone. It's Don't be afraid to reach out to people like, hey, if you want to go to this meetup or you want to go to this movie. The worst thing you can do is hold yourself back. So that's what I've learned from this little one who just passed on.
Yeah. You never know how long somebody's with you. I mean, you saw what happened with my family last month. My brother-in-law passed,
Hmm.
and uh, um, and we actually got an update for that. We were told that it was a sickle cell anemia, and nobody knew he had it. But my wife actually found out 2 weeks ago that there was some miscommunication, and the doctors they don't know what did it. They're saying it'll be another couple of months before they can tell, but they have no idea what killed him.
Wow. It's strange because doctors can be so smart and know what's wrong with you, or
Hmm.
doctors can be so smart and either don't care about you or don't know exactly what's wrong with you. Kind of going into like my I guess like an update to my dog, my Australian Shepherd. Last week, I noticed he was acting different. Um, he started getting black spots on his tongue. He has crystal blue eyes, and he was starting to seep blood into his irises, and he was starting to bleed while urinating. So of course that sent me worrying.
Hmm.
Last week I sent him to the vet. They tested him for 3 diseases. He came out negative. He has no platelets, no blood clotting. So if he were to like bump into the wall or get a playful bite from another dog, he would bleed internally.
Oh wow.
Um, so the only two things that the vet thinks, it's either he ate rat poison, which is not possible because we don't have a rat problem here and we don't set out rat poison. Neither do our neighbors. Um, or it's an immune issue. So one of the vets thinks it's the tick-borne disease is what she thinks it is, but he came out negative for it. She's not going to rule that one out. So it's been a week of healing for my dog, and he's getting better now. He's back at his playful, healthy self, but he's still not getting his platelets up to the standard he needs to have. He's still not having any clotting. He could still bleed internally. So it's been a weird week for me of just taking care of my loved ones and my dog, and it's been weird.
Are they sure he didn't get bit by certain? Aren't there certain types of snakes where their venom will cause that to happen?
I'm not sure. We don't have a snake problem in the neighborhood I live in. We have a hawk problem, hence why we don't have a rat problem. So
a pock problem?
Hawk.
Like
Oh,
a
hawk.
bird.
Oh, I think you said pock.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Carrie brings up an interesting point. You might not have rat poison, doesn't mean nobody in your neighborhood does.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a hawk issue, there wouldn't be any rats, so therefore the rat poison wouldn't be necessary for anybody.
Yeah, because the hawks, where I live, there's tons of hawks, and it's a desert as well. Those predator birds are not afraid to go for small dogs, cats, and rats. I've seen these hawks pick up the neighborhood cats, and I've never seen those cats again.
Hey, Clue.
Shadow hawk problem.
Shadow hawk.
That's entirely possible. Regarding the raptor issues, birds of prey and that sort of thing. We don't have a lot of hawks. We have a few. We have some falcons. Mostly we have eagles.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
That's even
because
worse.
eagles will carry off a sheep or a small child.
I've seen that.
You know?
Wait, let me see if I can bring it up because I want to show you something. I've seen this video a long time ago, and it's one of my favorites, and I laugh every time. Hold on. Here it is, find it.
If you don't recognize that tune, fellas, folks in the chat, that means you're too young.
We're looking at you, Lion King.
I didn't even know. Is Jeopardy even on the air anymore?
Yeah, it's still in the air.
Yeah, I haven't watched that shit in decades.
I think Mayim Bialik is the host of it. It's on hiatus right now because of the writer's strike, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and the Film Actors Guild strike.
Okay, I found it. Oh my gosh. Can I share, Samuel?
Yeah, you should. You know how, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It's gonna share. Hold on, before I do that. No.
I think Trebek got himself canceled. Clue.
He died. I think he had cancer.
Yeah, Trebek did die.
Yeah, he
right,
died
right.
of cancer.
I was thinking of Pat Sajak got himself canceled because he's pretty right leaning.
I heard that Ryan Seacrest is now gonna take over Wheel of Fortune.
How is it that guy always every time somebody's gone, there's Ryan Seacrest?
Anytime there's a void in Hollywood, Ryan Seacrest is the butt plug.
I'm there. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. This is super. What you were talking about, Samuel, about eagles carrying little kids and big animals because they're not afraid.
Yeah. For the record, that's an eagle.
Yes, it's a golden eagle, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Which are bigger than the bald eagles we have out here.
I'm sorry for the weird music.
I don't hear any music.
Oh.
We're gonna have a yoink. Yep. He's like, yep, off you go. Oh, it's dead now. Oh, it's a good thing he got knocked out first. Because this ain't like Wile E. Coyote. He ain't bouncing back. Yeah.
That bird ought to be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, that's
At first, I thought that was an accident, but he did that on purpose.
D-Day Direwolf, welcome. Yeah,
Hi,
that's
DJ
you know,
Direwolf.
that's kind of what I'm thinking though. Is he probably did it on purpose. In a lot of cases, you know, the birds of prey will grab something, carry it up into the air, and then rather than fight with it and whatnot, they'll drop it so that it dies, and then they'll go down and eat it.
Yeah, because they don't want to put
You know,
up a
they
fight.
do. Yeah, well, they do that shit with like rattlesnakes.
hmm
You know, because there have been instances where they've held onto the snake just a little too long, and it got a good bite in, and they both died. No. You know, so but yeah, that he bounced that baby's head right off that rock before dropping him off the cliff. You know, and they'll do
Give it
that
a
with
good-
things.
Oh, I was going to
Yeah,
say,
they'll
like,
do
give
that
it a
with
good
turtles too.
turtles.
Yeah, because
Like
the shell
cracking a
protection.
walnut.
Yeah,
Like
they
cracking a
carry them
walnut.
up high in the sky and then they drop them onto rocks
Oh,
because
I've
it
never
cracks them
seen it
open
with
and they can get at the
turtles.
meat inside. Mhm.
Oh, poor turtles.
Well,
Instant turtle soup.
circle of life.
It's
You know,
the tenderized meat, and you're not wrong, Burnaby.
No,
Um,
the rock.
yeah.
The rock is like they use the rocks for salt.
that's a good that's a good observation.
for those of you who are innocent, like our friend Nomi here out there in the YouTubeverse, nature is brutal and uncompromising, and it makes no apologies for it.
Nope. They
I
don't care,
know. Nature is brutal. It is.
bro. Listen,
Damn, nature, you scary.
I watched this video and it was like it was about snakes that pick fights with the wrong opponent. I saw a cobra running from a honey badger. I didn't know that honey badgers are immune to venom. This
Oh,
cobra.
have you ever seen the honey badger video?
No, go ahead, show it.
I did
Didn't
see
mean to
one
cut you off.
a couple weeks ago where a single honey badger fought off 3 cheetahs.
Yeah, they'll fight anything. Honey badgers are no joke.
They're not that big either. They're just
No, they're little.
they have very, very, very thick skins.
Yep.
And an attitude problem and a chip the size on their shoulders, the size of the planet.
That's why that cobra ran. It bit the honey badger in the head, and the honey badger just looked at it, and you could tell the snake was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah,
and the
most
honey
of
badger
them
just
can't penetrate
jumped
the
on
skin.
It was funny. That's I've never seen the snake. That cobra ran.
Yeah, most of them can't penetrate the skin when they bite or when they get bit. They, you know, I mean, if a cheetah can't penetrate the skin, a cobra's certainly not going to do it.
You know what else I found out is immune to venom is foxes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, foxes hunt venomous snakes too because they're immune to it also.
I would imagine that they're probably immune to specifically the snakes that they hunt, because like foxes in North America are only ever exposed to obviously North American snake venom. So if you were to introduce them to something from, say, Australia or Southeast Asia, they probably wouldn't be as prepared.
Oh yeah,
to
of
deal
course
with that.
not, because I mean their body hasn't adapted to it. Not that it would have the chance anyway, because I mean you only get bit once and that's it.
Mongoose are immune to venom. Did you know the California king snakes are also immune to rattlesnake venom?
Yeah, and they also eat other snakes. That's why they're called the king snake.
Did not know that. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio on that.
Nope, no audio.
Dang it. Okay. That is a me issue then.
Yeah, there's a when you go to share the thing, there's a little checkbox in the bottom left-hand corner, I think, that says share my audio. It's pretty easy to miss. It's pretty small.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's like the bottom left-hand corner, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and I figured out StreamYards. A little bit.
For those who don't know, Nomi is preparing to start streaming on her own channel as well.
Yes. Please give me patience. Give me grace. And let me know if you guys can hear.
Nomi, they've been waiting on my channel for about 8 months.
So. Watch it run in slow
Wait,
motion.
say that again, Larry.
They've been waiting on my channel for 8 months, and now that I'm packing up and in the process of moving, that threw my plans back at probably
another 8 months.
Nah, I said another 2 or 3.
Okay.
It's pretty badass. Look,
Can you
it
hear?
runs all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa, watch out, says that bird. Ew, it's got a snake. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. Oh my gosh. Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy. The honey badger has been referred to by the Guinness Book of World Records as the most fearless animal in all of the animal kingdom. It really doesn't give a shit. If it's hungry, it's hungry. Ew, what's that in its
Why
mouth?
does this sound like Billy
Oh, it's got a
Eichner?
cobra. Oh, it runs backwards. Now watch this. Look, a snake's up in the tree. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't give a shit. It just takes what it wants. Whenever it's hungry, it just ew, and it eats snakes. Oh my god, watch it dig. Look at that digging. The honey badger is really pretty badass. They have no regard for any other animal whatsoever. Look, and it's just grunting and ew, eating snakes. Ew, what's that, a mouse? Oh, that's nasty. Oh, they're so nasty. Oh, look, it's chasing things and eating them. The honey badgers have a fairly long body, but a distinctly thick set, broad shoulders, and their skin is loose, allowing them to move about freely. And they twist around. Now look, here's a house full of bees. You think the honey badger cares? It doesn't give a shit. It goes right into the house of bees to get some larvae. How disgusting is that? It eats larvae. Ew, that's so nasty. But look, the honey badger doesn't care. It's getting stung like 1,000 times. It doesn't give a shit. It's hungry. It doesn't care about being stung
It's
by
that
bees.
thick, loose skin.
Nothing can stop the honey badger when it's hungry. Oh, what a crazy fuck. Look. Ew, it's eating larvae. That's disgusting. There it is, running in slow motion again. See? Now, what's interesting is that other animals like these birds here, they just like to wait around until the honey badger's done eating, and then it swoops in to pick up the scraps. It says, you do all the work for us, honey badger, and we'll just eat whatever you find. How's that? What do you say, stupid? Look at this bird. Thanks for the treat, stupid. Hey, come back here, says the honey badger. Birds don't care. And you know what? The jackals do it too. Look at these little dogs. They're like, thanks, stupid. Thanks for the mouse. See you later. The honey badger does all the work while these other animals just pick up the scraps. At nighttime, the honey badger goes hunting because it's hungry.
This is on Nat Geo Wild.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I just noticed their watermark in the corner there. I'm like, holy, isn't this supposed to be kid friendly? Honey badger just doesn't give a fuck.
I think it's just a guy that just got the video and narrated himself.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm like, there's no way they aired that. This narrator.
Imagine if they did, though.
I'm telling you, it sounds just like Billy Eichner.
Look, here comes a fierce battle between a king cobra and a honey badger. I wonder what'll happen. Look at this. There's the honey badger just eating a mouse. And then look, get away from me, says the snake. Get away from me. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger smacks the shit out of it. And the snake comes back and lashes right at the honey badger. Oh, little does the honey badger know, FYI, it's been stung. It's been bitten by the snake. So while it's eating the snake, ew, that's disgusting. Meanwhile, the poisonous venom is seeping through the honey badger's body, and it passes out. Look at that sleepy fuck. Now, the honey badger is just going to pass out for a few minutes, and then it's going to get right back up and start eating all over again because it's a hungry little bastard. Look at this. Like nothing happened. The honey badger gets right back up and continues eating the cobra.
Yeah, because he's
disgusting.
drunk.
And of course, what does the honey badger have to eat for the next 3 weeks? Cobra. The honey badger.
That was entertaining as shit, but yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, I should change my avatar to the honey badger. And you know what, Nomi?
What's that?
What is the mascot of the Hufflepuffs?
It's a badger. It's a badger. Because I'm a Hufflepuff.
And Samuel, you're a Slytherin, so you are a snake.
You know, I got something for that, Larry. Since the joke just keeps coming up, this came through from Kohai a little bit ago. Beating a dead
She
snake
wishes,
over
but
there.
as you can tell, I still got my guard up.
You know what?
My-
You do have your guard up, and it's an impressive guard at that. She also created a new profile picture for you.
Oh.
Oh, Kohai, you. Oh.
Bad dragon, you. Don't
All
worry, I
right,
won't
I'm
use
gonna
that
get
one.
even.
Don't worry, I won't use that one that much. I just thought it was
Wait until
funny.
October comes around, Kohai. Wait until that was funny. Nomi is a Hufflepuff. That's
I think she
correct.
said that before, like weeks
She
ago.
did.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again. I zoned out.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Nomi.
Sorry, I zoned out. I was doing something else.
Fair
No,
enough.
no. If it's something you'd like to show us, help yourself.
No, it's nothing I want to show you guys.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah,
Kohai
Nomi is
thinks
a
it's funny.
yeah. All right, Kohai. I got you. That's okay.
Yeah,
got you.
JB's just a little shocked that you're Hufflepuff, which I don't. We've had this
Oh.
conversation. Nobody said that she was a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, why does it shock you? Like, I thought it would come out natural of how I am. I'm a
Yeah. Hufflepuffs
Hufflepuff.
are tough.
I mean, I
we
don't know
don't
the
care.
difference.
Honey
'cause-
Badger don't care. Neither do we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you can
never
tell.
read those books, those silly books. So
But you should know us by our personality. I mean, how many times have you seen me angry, like, or heard me angry off camera over the phone, and you were like, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go do this to this person." You were like, "You do realize you'll be under the jail for 100 years?" And what did I say? I don't give a f. That's exactly what I said. I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I don't give a care." But yeah, so that brings us to tonight. For those of you who have been patient and waited long enough, tonight's main topic is Stephen King and some of our favorite works. Nomi, have you seen any of the Stephen King movies? Bring it
Nope.
on, Oh, okay. All
you
right.
got to give her credit. Her shit talk game is
Yeah,
up there.
no, I got it. That's all right. Looking like that damn
Yeah.
Annabelle doll.
But we are gonna talk some Stephen King here.
All right.
Yeah. So Nomi, have you watched any of the books, any of the movies?
Nope. I was a sheltered homeschooled kid, Larry. I did not get the exposure as a normal person that went to public school.
Okay.
To
now
be
that
honest with
brings-
you, Nomi, I read some of his stuff when I was in school, but most of it I didn't really delve into King until after I got married because my ex-wife was a big fan, and she had all the books, and like we kind of just pulled all of our collected, copies of books into one, little library room and all that stuff. And every once in a while, I'd go to grab something to read I hadn't read before. So I ended up reading most of his books while I was married because my ex-wife had all of them.
Yeah, I came across one of his books when I was 13, and I just opened up a page at random, and I was like, "Yeah, this is definitely 18 and over," because dialogue wise, he pulls no punches. I mean, when I say when I say he's graphic, he's graphic.
Mm.
So I just opened it up. I read a page. I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Yeah, I
He-
better let me go. Let me put this down.
He is very, very graphic and very. It's not that he's graphic; it's that he's extremely detail oriented, and you can tell this when you read his novels because his novels are all between 5 and 1,000 pages long,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he spends a lot of time on details that are not fucking important or relevant. He does, and he does this with every page, every scene, and all that. He likes to get all the details there and paint the whole picture for you. And in some cases, it works, and in other cases, like the novel It, for example, is 1,000 pages long. First 500 have so much important information woven into it that you can't skip it to get to the second 500 because it won't make any sense. Where it's exciting and good, but it's so fucking boring. The first half of that book is really hard to get through. It took me like 3 weeks. Because it was just so boring.
And it is detailed, Nomi. Like the left bottom left side of Nomi's nail glistened with a quarter, half an inch of nail polish left from when she used nail remover 3 years ago when she was in New York. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, it goes into a whole
Okay.
backstory about the fucking nail polish developer, which has nothing to do with the rest of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the type of person like, please don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
So
Type of
you would
girl.
be Yeah, you'd be better off with the short stories because he doesn't have as much space to work with, so he gets to the point, and they're much better in terms of like digestible reads.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you just want to sit back and enjoy some good movies, I could say I think like I enjoy Stephen King movies. Some it's not a good idea to watch them alone if you've never watched them. Like It, I wouldn't watch It alone. Not the new one. I'm talking about the one that came out in the '90s. Like that
Yeah, that
that
was a
one was
miniseries.
it was a miniseries. That will create. Don't watch
The
that
one
alone.
with Tim Curry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of my favorite all time. Him and Billy Zane, two very underrated, very unappreciated actors.
Yep. Well, there were a lot of great actors in that, and it got pulled off very well. And also, they cut a lot of the really disturbing shit out of it.
Okay,
You
now
know,
you got me curious because I've never read the books.
He gets a lot of flack for this, and I think rightfully so. There is an underage gangbang in the book.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, like there's some very fucked up shit in that book, and that sort of thing obviously did not make it to a made-for-TV miniseries on ABC or whatever fucking channel it debuted on, CBS or whatever, and for good reason. You know, all of the characters in it, like you start with them as children and then you come back to them as adults because there's like 27 years in between the two time periods, um, and all that. But basically, how they defeat it is through the power of love, and the power of love actually involves physical loving.
yeah.
And there are 6 boys and 1 girl, and that shit that was not okay. You know, there are other things about the book that I like quite a bit, but that specific part there is
I
just
didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that they did that.
I know people who won't read anything he's written because of that specific scene.
I don't
Yeah,
blame them.
Oh, I don't either.
yeah. I'll stick to the movies. Wow. Yeah, I didn't because I can't remember exactly what I saw with that. I don't even remember what book it was I grabbed, but I remember when I just opened that book and read what I saw on that page just stir. And again, I'm 13,
Hmm.
if I remember correctly. I was around 13.
Well, that's funny.
It
So were those characters.
Yeah, it disturbed me so much that I just put the book down. I couldn't believe what I had just read. I was like, and I remember what I was thinking. I was like, I'll never read any of his books because of what I saw, what I read on that page, and I've never read any of them. I've watched the movies, but I've never read any of them because what just a little bit I read, just it disturbed me that much.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does that. He likes to do the most shocking thing he can think of in a lot of cases. I find that his writing, especially with the short stories are usually pretty great because he's able to get the idea out and he's able to be succinct with it and get to the fucking point. So you're not, sitting there reading about like whatever manufacturer of whatever shade of lipstick might have done like 6 weeks ago last Thursday, which has nothing to do with anything. Um, and they tend to be pretty good. And he's had some really great ideas in terms of horror that it made it, like not everything he's written has been made into a visual medium. A few things have, quite a few of them have been made very poorly.
Mm.
Usually when he has any kind of creative control, it's not good. Typically when he doesn't have any creative control, it turns out a lot better. Things like Shawshank Redemption, like Green Mile, like The Mist.
Yeah.
These are like his better movies based on his work, and he didn't
Yeah.
have practically anything to do with them in terms of making the movies.
Yeah, not every great writer make great directors.
Yep. Yeah, that's true too. It's been a long time since I read that book, but yeah. There's a
What?
lot of like sex crime stuff in his books that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Again, Joker's voice, that's one of those things. The Mist, the ending is hard and it will hit you hard and it will stay with you. but the ending is not the original ending. Frank Darabont came up with that ending. It's very different in the story that it's based on. And if I remember right, King himself has said, "I wish I had come up with that ending." Which I don't want to spoil because it's an excellent movie, and I think everybody should watch it. Just be sure that you're, in a relatively unassailable good mood that day, because it'll hurt.
Well, I'll tell you what. Since we're talking about his writing, from the research that I was gathering on him, apparently even he didn't like his writing. So I'm wondering, as messed up as his writing is, meant to the whole shock value and everything, it makes me wonder what was in the manuscripts that he threw out. Because one of the things I found out was there was a novel that he was writing, and he hated it so much that he threw it in the garbage, and his wife went behind him and took it out of the garbage, and she encouraged him to keep writing it, and as many times as he could. And apparently he got rejected a bunch of times, and then somebody finally put it in the stores, and that book was Carrie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carrie would have been his first published novel, and it was something that he's talked about himself. Like I think he's even prefaced that book talking about the journey to getting it published and all that stuff. And he's talked about it in live talks and that sort of thing, about a lot of different things. And he's not always a fan of his own writing. Thing about an author who's as prolific as he is that all of the stuff that he has that's been published and out there, right? He's at a point in his life now where he could write pretty much anything he wants on a napkin and they'll fucking publish it. But that was not always the case. He's got boxes and boxes and boxes of shit in his attic that has never seen the light of day, that only he knows about. Either ideas he didn't like, or he didn't like the way the story was going, or he just couldn't finish it, or writer issues. But yeah, Carrie was the first, and was pretty well received, and actually is pretty good. There have been 3 movie versions of it.
Yeah, this sure has.
Yeah.
Now I remember you were telling me earlier that as far as speaking of movie edition, you you said that Salem's Lot. And Salem's Lot was the one book that I was going to read. And I know it wasn't a book that I picked up years ago, but I was thinking about reading it, and you talked me out of it earlier.
Yeah, do take it with a grain of salt, because it is my personal opinion, but that book is boring as fuck. It is. There's a character in it who is important later in the Dark Tower series, because the Dark Tower kind of ties together Stephen King's universe of all of his various stuff. But you don't actually have to read Salem's Lot to understand that character, because everything's really explained in the Dark Tower book that he's in, which I think is the Wolves of Kala, and all that. But the book itself, I've never actually finished the book. I've seen the movie a couple times, and also boring as fuck. But
Well,
I've never actually.
You don't see the vampire into the end or something like. I know it's a Nosferatu.
No, he shows up. He doesn't reveal himself as what he is until directly to anybody he doesn't kill anyway. Till the end, he does show up. He just the townspeople don't really have a full on grip with what they're dealing with till about halfway through the book. And
So nobody figures out that they're dealing with a vampire.
no, they do. It just takes them like half a book, and the book's like 400 pages long. So 200 pages in, they finally figure out, oh, it's a vampire. Hey, Luke Castley.
Well, that's not long though. I mean, hey Lou, if it's a dry book, that's a long time to figure out what you're dealing with.
That's what I'm saying, man. Is like I have never finished the book. It's just so goddamn boring.
Keep falling asleep.
Or my mind wanders, or I get up to do something, anything else. It's not good. It's one of his earlier efforts too. It's the second or third book he ever published. Carrie is better, but as you stated before, he worked on Carrie a lot more, and it got refined, and it's definitely a better novel. But the Salem's Lot just like it feels like a rough draft, and it's not my favorite at all. And like I said, there are characters, that town in particular. So Salem's Lot is short for Jerusalem's Lot, which is a fictional town in Maine. Right, there are a number of towns that he sets his work in. Almost all of them are in Maine. Some of them are fictional, some of them not. Derry is fictional.
Yeah, Derry.
Salem's Lot is fictional. Castle Rock is semi-fictional. And it comes up again down the road. Like it comes up it pops up in several short stories. There's a kind of a sequel short story called Jerusalem's Lot that is much, much fucking better. Also features vampires. And then there's another one called Gray Matter that takes place in the same town, but has nothing to do with vampires. It has to do with this giant pulsating brain that consumes everything it touches and lives in a seedy motel room. It was a weird story.
Look at Nomi.
I'm listening. I'm listening to you guys.
No, I know you're listening. It's just the look of your face when he said that. It was just like oh.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get you to watch. So at least watch some of the movies. Some of the movies are in the miniseries are very entertaining. Like I said, the Stand. I don't know. I mean,
The Stand is good.
Yeah, the Stand. But which I haven't seen the newer version that came out. When did the new one come out? What was it? 2014?
Man, I don't know. I didn't watch it. Maybe. Yeah, when I think of The Stand, I think of the 90s miniseries or the book itself, both of which are excellent. I think the ending in the book has a bit more punch to it. It's a bit more satisfying of an ending. But
it has more punch than a flaming fist.
Yes.
If you're talking about the 90s one.
Yeah. No, I mean it's the same ending, just the way it's written in the book. It didn't feel like kind of in the miniseries. The ending feels a little out of left field. It does. It feels like holy shit. There's this happening now. What the fuck? And then it goes into this really long kind of denouement, kind of epilogue sequence that it just sort of feels like the climax didn't really have a lot of punch to it. It really didn't, Yes, Luke Castley, we are in fact discussing Stephen King's his books, his movies.
I'm trying my best to scare Nomi with what I'm saying, but
she's just shrugging. She's like, "Yeah, good luck, buddy."
Yeah.
Nomi's a Hufflepuff like me. We're honey badgers. Nomi don't care.
Fuck.
But I will tell you, you did ask me. I think for me, when I look at the movies and the one that scared me, I know it didn't really scare me. What scared me was Silver Bullet, and I don't know why. Because you didn't see the werewolf until the end. I think for me as a kid, it was not seeing him, and it was the way that they used the. I mean, how many werewolves do you know will kill somebody by playing baseball with them?
Are you talking about? Is that a Twilight reference?
No. The werewolf, the parents were hunting it.
Okay.
Right. The parents were hunting it, and one of the guys had a Louisville Slugger. And instead of the werewolf biting the man and tearing him apart, he socked him, took the bat, and beat him to death with it.
Sounds like a bitch ass move, honestly, and a cop out too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But when you got half the town hunting you, shoot, including fireworks saved that kid's life.
Yeah, doesn't he put like a Roman candle into the thing's eye?
Oh yeah, he did. So Nomi, that the main character, the kid, right? The main character is a child. The child's a paraplegic, and his uncle gives him this. It's like a like a tri-wheel motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah. His uncle's played by Gary Busey.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah, totally
Gary
worth
Busey?
watching. By the way,
Yeah.
very entertaining.
I
yeah. It
was like,
is.
Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has his son Jake Busey was on set apparently, um, and became good friends with the lead character in the movie, which was played by Corey Haim. So Corey Haim was he played the main child, and he sneaks out. He gets into the little little motorcycle thing, and he's riding and enjoying himself. And it's probably what 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, he gets onto the bridge, and there's nobody around, and here comes the werewolf, and that's what scared me because you didn't really see it.
Well, that was
Kind of for them.
that was a technique of older horror movies too. They
Yeah,
never revealed the monster until the third act, and usually late in the third act,
yeah,
and it was more effective that way.
yeah. It was. Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
You know,
But when he got that sucker in the eye, I mean, that was the first time you saw its eyes, and I was like, "Oh snap!" Because I mean, when I saw it, I was a child, and I'm sitting there like I'm putting myself in this kid's shoes, right? And I just, man, that scared me because as far as I was concerned, it was like me being stuck there on that bridge, not being able to move, and here comes that thing because, Sam and I were talking about this earlier about um how how nightmares work with me, and I remember how we were talking about the whole golf and everything last week. Well, when I would have a nightmare or things would
night, JV.
happen,
Bye, JV.
if good night, JV. But if I got hit by something, or if I got bit by something, or shot by something, I actually felt the impact. I felt pain. It wasn't like I was just watching it happen. Like I actually felt, and some things happened where the pain was so great that it actually woke me up. Like my body actually, you know, jumped and jolted and woke me up.
I've had those
Uh,
before.
yeah, and it's always that way. And so I told Sammy earlier today about the nightmare where I was stuck in somebody's ear and I couldn't get out.
That's still, man. That is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
I had like 4 nightmares. I was like 8 years old. I had like 4 nightmares that night, and the last one was me being stuck in somebody's ear and not being able to get out.
What I got a question. So I got several questions. Were Was it a giant ear, or were you tiny, or was there some kind of like weird sixth dimension physics thing going on?
I was tiny.
Okay, so it was a normal sized ear, but you were really small.
Yeah, I was really small. What you thought I was like the size I am now, and I'm just stuck in somebody's ear, like.
And I'm thinking like, no, I'm thinking like a really, really big ear. Like
Oh
they've
no,
got.
no.
You can go to natural history museums and do like a tour of the cochlea and the various bones and stuff inside the ear. Like just walk through. And I was thinking something like that maybe.
No, no, this was a regular human sized ear, and I was stuck in it. And I could not, I was trying to climb out. I could not get out of this fool's ear. I don't even know whose ear it was because I never saw their face. I never got out. I was stuck until I woke up, later, in the morning.
Good night, Gary. Have a good one.
I carry. Somebody gonna bring up the book in short story about the rafting. Oh yeah, I remember that with uh I want to say Bridget. Was it Bridget Bardot? On the raft. I
I
think
don't know. I haven't seen Creepshow 2 in many, many years.
that was messed up how she died in the end.
I don't remember any of that. I might actually have to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, and I didn't know there was a Creep Show 3. I gotta go back and I'm gonna go watch that. But
Huh.
yeah, it's Stephen King definitely. I mean, so did he have anything to do with Silver Bullet?
Yeah, he wrote it.
No, no, I mean the movie.
Oh, I don't recall. I think he had some producing uh producer role on there, but I don't think he was, super hands-on like he wanted to be. Um then again, he might have been. I mean, not everything the guy does is terrible. It's just, most of it. Uh One of my very favorite Stephen King movies ever is called Sleepwalkers, and it's bad. And
Is that the one with the alien?
no, that's the one with the incestuous mom and son who also turn into giant hairless cat people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw. I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I love that movie. I do. But let's face it, it's really bad, and his fingerprints are all over that.
Yeah, that one was bad, but the one where it had the alien, the Mr. Gray, I made the mistake of going and watching that in the theaters, me and my friends, and we were just like, if it wasn't too late for us to get our money back, we would have left. I hated that movie. That movie was so bad,
Yeah.
and it was disgusting. I was just like, just the
Yeah. I don't know that I saw that one.
you don't want to see it.
I don't remember an alien
Yeah,
at
it was an
all.
alien named Mr. Gray, and I think the way it got in was it would get into you through your butt, if I remember
Ew.
correctly.
That wasn't Dreamcatcher, was it?
No, I don't think that was Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, because that was another one of his. But again, the studio had more control over that than he did, and it was pretty good. Plus, they had Morgan Freeman.
It might have actually. I think it was. I think it was Dreamcatcher because Morgan Freeman. If Morgan Freeman was in it,
Yeah, it was kind of a thing sort of scenario. Like they didn't know who was possessed by the alien or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. And the alien's name was Mr. Gray, and then it started spreading like a disease. Yeah, it was Dreamcatcher.
yeah. No, I did see that. It's been a long time. So, but yeah, not all of them are bangers. I like the miniseries. I liked it. I liked The Stand. I There are bits of those that are not great, not well made. You know, bits and pieces. I mean, overall, I think everybody who contributed to it did pretty good. But there are bits and pieces. Tim Curry is honestly the best part of that miniseries.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
really
yeah.
is, hands down. And see, this has been an issue for me for a while because I actually read the book. The actual being it, right? Capital I, capital T, is not the fucking clown. The clown is a face that it puts on
Yeah.
to terrify children because it feeds on fear.
Yep.
That's what keeps it alive. And it doesn't just become the clown. The clown is one thing that it does throughout the course of terrorizing these kids. It turns into a werewolf, a mummy. It turns into the girl's dad, who's super fucking abusive at one point. It
turns into an IRS agent if you're behind your taxes. I mean, whatever it can do to scare the heck out of you.
Well, because what it is a creature from what's called Todash darkness, which is the space between worlds, like outer darkness. It's literally a Lovecraftian entity.
Yeah.
A lot of his stuff actually takes direct inspiration from or directly rips off Lovecraft, which Lovecraft would not have had a problem with, but he was very heavily inspired by that. Although I doubt, given the hubbub about how very racist Lovecraft was, he would ever cop to that these days. But he did. He ripped off a lot of his stuff, and it was one of those things.
Well, you know what? Look, I'm going to say this that will be controversial to some people, especially with me being a quote minority. Honestly, I respect Lovecraft's work, and I don't give a rat's behind if he. I wouldn't even call him a racist. It was more that he thought a certain type of um, I wouldn't say breeding or culture. It was like a certain way that people carried themselves. That
He was a
thought,
xenophobe, is what he was. If you weren't from Providence, Rhode Island, he didn't like you, and he didn't even like most of the people in his fucking neighborhood who were from there. The guy was afraid of fucking air conditioning.
Yeah.
I
don't even think he liked himself.
No, not at all.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't see him as that. I think that I just think that I think his brain just worked different.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
So
but the overall point is that like the thing that it is
really Clue?
Very much out. Yes, it is. It's in a lot of his books, but yeah, it is. It's used quite a bit throughout The Stand by generally bad people. Are you familiar with the story of The Stand?
Yeah.
Okay, so they divide into two camps, good and bad, and all that stuff. Well, the bad guys say shit like this all the time. but they're very clearly the bad guys too. I do. Did you ever read the Langoliers or see the movie?
I saw the movie a long time ago.
I think Clue. I'd have to say that the CGI, which was at the time cutting edge, but looking back is not great. It's like Lawnmower Man 2 level CGI. Is off-putting now. It doesn't hold up now, but at the time it was well done. I'd have to say that the story, the novella that it was based on, was really good though. And I don't think they quite managed to cover the scope of the concept that they were trying to convey in the movie either. It works better on paper, but I like the story. So
Yeah, and just to confirm your Clue, because I just saw your message from earlier. Yeah, there is a Creep Show 3.
yeah,
Yeah, there is. Nomi, what about you? I know this is kind of, even though Stephen King is the main topic, I don't want to leave you out because it's definitely hard when you haven't seen or read anything. Because how do you respond to any of that? So let me ask you, what kind of, are you into horror movies? If so, scary movies. What, is there a particular series that you're into? Um, you know, what, is there a certain type of area like thrillers or whatnot, or you know?
I like this Insidious, The Conjuring, the like those type of horror. I wouldn't call those horror,
hey
but
Josh.
like uh
Insidious
hi.
with that lipstick demon, and by the way, they're getting ready to come out with another movie, but
I
that damn
know.
demon scared the hell out of me.
I know. I like supernatural movies like
Okay,
that
that demon
versus
looks like
horror.
Kohai.
I
Well,
actually modeled the demon after her.
I would, I, I would probably argue that those like movies like Insidious, for example, are horror movies. They're just not uh, like you. There are different genres within the genre.
Hmm.
So you've got things like torture porn that include things like Saw or Hostel, or I would go so far as to include all of the cannibal inbred hillbilly mutant shit too with that. Um, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills Have Eyes or Wrong Turn or any of that stuff. All of that is plausible, can and does happen in the real world. For me, that's an issue, but I have no problem with somebody like Freddy Krueger, for example, who's a dream demon, right?
Hmm.
Which is completely supernatural. Or something like Mr. Howdy from The Exorcist. You know that's something that I can watch, and that's a much more supernatural oriented horror
Yeah.
movie.
But let me ask you this, Nomi, because that's actually pretty interesting to me. And I'm sorry, 'cause I feel like I kind of cut you off before
No,
before
it's
you even
okay.
finished. But to me, for you to say that Insidious to you is not, it's not really a horror movie or like a scary movie, that's a testament to your mental fortitude. Because
Oh.
normally, for it takes a lot to scare me, and I watched Insidious for the first time a year ago, and I about jumped out my chair. My wife was looking at me like, "What in the world is going on with you?" You
Yeah.
know?
I think I don't know, because Samuel was saying it earlier, is horror. I label horror as torture porn or murderous people who are out there who just want to kill for fun, like Freddy Krueger is a dream demon. Um, that's what I would consider horror versus movies like Insidious, As Above as Below, um, The Conjuring. Those are spiritual, like supernatural movies.
Hmm.
Because I know people will have like different takes in life, but I definitely do believe in the supernatural like fight of demons wanting just to consume your soul and ruin your life and wreak havoc among humankind.
Real quick, Suka, we're not starting that shit again. Paranormal Activity sucks. And Dermy, if you're out there listening, it still sucks.
Hey, I've got one that I could throw at Nomi.
What's that?
It's It wasn't until There were second and third adoptions of it. The Blair Witch Project, the
I've never
first
seen
one.
it.
Yeah, you never see the Blair Witch throughout the whole thing, and the ending, as compared to anything else, is about as normal as it gets in any other setting. But it disturbed. And granted, I was in AIT, so I'm in the army, and it disturbed all of us. I mean, people weren't sleeping right. And there was nothing scary about the ending. It was just the fact that you never saw this thing through the whole movie, and for it to culminate in a woman screaming because her and the last guy, she's looking for the guy because he's screaming, sound like he's screaming for his life. She finds him. He's standing in the corner, facing the corner. Like how kid does something wrong, you put the kid in the corner.
Yeah.
He's standing in the corner. She screams. She's got the camcorder in her hand. She screams, and all of a sudden, she just falls over. The camera falls sideways, and that's it. And the credits go up.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I know that was like such a huge movie to see back in the day, but I was a kid and I wasn't allowed to watch any of that type of crap movies. And then the friends who did go see it, like, yeah, it was boring at the end. It wasn't even worth it. So
I have to agree. It was boring. It was like, let me put it this way. I saw the Blair Witch twice. The first time I
Why
went
would
to
you do
see
that
it,
to
it
yourself?
was, well, let me, hold on. The first time I went to see it was in theaters. I went with a couple of friends of mine, and we had spent most of the day, how do I put this without getting in trouble with my mom? Toking. Um,
oh, okay.
we were not in
You were
in
a full adult and you have to watch what you say to your
these
mom.
are there's certain things I just don't talk to my mother about.
Okay, fair.
You know. But anyway, so we were not in a sober frame of mind when we went to see this movie, and there were woods and hills nearby where we were at that resembled what was in the movie as well. As it turns out, there are parts of America that are pretty much the same all over, uh, and it scared the bejesus out of us because we were not in a sober frame of mind. Months later, cut to months later, I'm telling my good friend about it, and he's like, "Oh, hey, we should watch it then." I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally down to watch it again." So I watch it with him, but this time stone cold sober, bored to fucking tears from beginning to end, except for one or two points which were hilarious, like when the after there's a bit where one of them goes crazy and tosses the map into the river, and everybody else is freaking out, like, "Why the fuck would you get rid of the map?" And they're like, "Well, let's just pick a direction and go." And they pick a direction and they come to like a cliff. And the line there is, well, south didn't work out. And I busted laughing because that was hilarious. But the rest of the movie, like, I was just like, why is this such a big deal? I mean, was everybody not sober the first time they watched this? Because it's fucking dull. I never, and I haven't seen it since because I was just that unimpressed with it this on the second viewing when I was sober.
Mm. Josh is asking about the Descent, and he brought up As Above. I never saw As Above, So Below. I mean, until you mentioned it, Nomi, I don't think I'd ever heard of it.
It's pretty recent. I think it's a French movie.
2014 says
There
it's
is a
American.
there is a US a US version. I'm looking at it right now on IMDb. Give me a moment.
Well, that's another one. Like Suka brings up, Let Me In, which is an American adaptation of a Norwegian film, Let the Right One In, which
Mhm.
I saw first. I like to go down to Walmart during Halloween because they usually put out like racks and racks of obscure and random ass horror movies, and usually you can get them for like $5 to $8 a piece. And I picked up Let the Right One In on a whim. And it says on there, like, I think Ain't It Cool News, there was a quote from them that said, the scariest vampire movie ever. I was like, well, that's a bold statement. Now they got to back it up. So I bought it and took it home with me. And I watched it, and I would not say it was the scariest ever, but it was certainly up there with the creep factor, and had some really good characters in it. I really enjoyed it. And then years later, the American Studios remade it with Let Me In, which I don't think I did see that remake actually. I heard it was good. It had I've seen some stuff where it had some really interesting and original camera shots. Like they roll a car at one point, and the camera is like stationary, but the car is rolling, but it's filming from inside, so it's like on a gimbal kind of thing. Was a very cool shot. A little nauseating, but very cool shot. But The Descent, as I said in the chat, is probably not the sequel, just the first one. Is probably one of the best horror movies of the last 20 years. It's excellent. And if you're going to watch it, get the British ending. The American ending kind of cuts the balls off of it.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. I saw it with the British ending. They did actually let a few of those reels get into the United States theaters. I didn't know there were 2 endings at the time. And then later I found out, I got the real ending. Okay.
Suka says the Silent Hill 2 and 3 games were scarier than any movie. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say Fatal Frame. If you're talking games, Fatal Frame scared the bejesus out of me. And I was an adult.
But I'm telling you, though, a lot of these games. I mean, people were laughing at me last week, but a lot of these games are so scary and they're so visual, and they draw you in so much that there's no. I can watch someone else play them, but I can't play them because my brain puts me there inside the character's head. It's weird. It's weird the way my brain works with them. So I can't just look at it. I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm playing a game. Then there was a jump scare. It's like, no, I'm actually there.
Right. Well, the survival horror genre of gamings, which really got like there are precursors to it, but the one that really kind of started that whole explosion of that genre was Resident Evil, the first one.
Yep.
Silent Hill came very, very shortly after that, and was very, very effective. When I talk Fatal Frame, like in Silent Hill, there's a lot of the puzzle solving and that sort of thing, and using what you find to make your way through. In Fatal Frame, you're a 14-year-old Japanese schoolgirl in a haunted house with nothing but a camera.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that game is scary.
And it's not just like, it's not just the scare factor, although that is hugely prevalent. Like things will walk through walls right past you, and you won't, if you're not paying attention, you won't see them. But if you do see them, it's just for a second, and it scares the shit out of you. It's all ambient noises. It has some of the most demonic, and when I say demonic, I mean in terms of difficulty, not in like actual, demons and shit, puzzles that I have ever had to deal with. There was a combination lock at one point, and you had to figure out what the combination was. The problem is all the numbers were in kanji, and I don't read kanji. And it took me forever to figure out, basically where to start, because as it turns out, the Japanese start their number combinations with 0 at the top and not 1. So that threw me off. And then, as it turns out, it goes counterclockwise and not clockwise like we do. So again, threw me off. And then figuring out which symbol stood for which number. It was a 4-hour process in the middle of the fucking night, and I didn't have any of the lights on, and I was trying to write these little notes down and figure out the kanji script on my tiny little notepad with the pen. And I'm like 24 years old, scaring the crap out of myself. No.
I couldn't do that to myself. There's no way.
Little baby Samuel was scared.
Baby nothing. I was old enough almost to get insurance, like good insurance.
Yeah, but how much did it cost you, though?
Well, it dropped significantly when I hit 26, but
Oh man. So yeah, but Naomi, those are. Is there any movie that scared you, like to this day? It kind of makes you think twice about watching it again, or I wouldn't say think twice about seeing the sequel, but just anything that comes to mind that really kind of put the fright in you.
I don't know. I'm the type of person of, once I see that movie, I'm okay with not seeing it again. Not because it terrified me or it scared me to hell. It's more of, I can live my life without it. I can't think of any movie where I absolutely will not touch it or won't watch it again. No, I'm not. I don't know. Like I never was those type of people of like I have to watch movies all the time to get something scared in me or label it that I'm so scared that I don't want to see it again. If anything, the type of movies I do avoid seeing, it sounds dumb, are movies like The Thing, Alien. I can't remember what. There was one movie that Ryan Reynolds was in it, and they were in space, and there's just like an alien just kind of killing them
Yeah.
all.
It was called
Yeah.
Life.
Yes, Life.
Mhm.
I hate those type of movies. So that's the ones I kind of avoid.
You don't like aliens, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't like aliens.
that's interesting.
So no
Mhm.
Aliens versus Predator for you. None of those.
Mm-mm. I mean, I'll watch those because I know those are classic, but I don't have a desire to watch them. If that makes sense.
No, fair enough.
I get that. Yeah.
I liked. I love The Thing. I like John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. Well, I like 2 of the 3 of the John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. The Thing being one of them. The other one that I did like was In the Mouth of Madness, which is all of these are very Lovecraftian in their own ways. This one actually had like tentacle monsters from another dimension coming through, but it had all kinds of weird shit in it though too. It had a Stephen King like author who was rewriting reality with his new novel, and it's a weird book. Sam Neill's in it, very good. Or weird movie, but I do love that. And The Thing was one of the all time greats in my opinion, just because of the suspense of it, because you never know who is the thing, who can you trust, even at the end of the movie when Childs and McCready are sitting there by the fire about to freeze to death in Antarctica, and neither one of them knows if they're really them, and neither does the audience, and then they roll the credits. Just this is a great movie. Sorry I spoiled that for you guys if you haven't seen it, but the movie's been out since 1984 or 5, so but yeah, so I like those kinds of things. I like the cosmic horror aspect of it. I would include Alien in that level, actually, in that as well. But I get it. I do. Everybody's got their thing. I mean that they don't do. I don't do torture porn.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I know there are evil fucking people in the world really doing shit like that, and I have seen some really evil shit with my own eyes. I don't need that as entertainment.
Yeah. Know me? I am looking at. You've heard of Eventbrite, correct?
Yes.
So I'm looking at like upcoming stuff for Halloween. I don't know why it just got me in the mood. There's a horror film fest in Houston in August, and the tickets are $15.
Ooh.
And they've got some big names for horror movies there. Billy Zane. We were just talking about Billy Zane earlier. Dee Wallace, Danielle Harris, Christy Swanson. I mean, these are some very well names in horror.
Okay.
Tara Reid. Thinking about Adrienne Barbeau. For $15, that's not bad.
But in August in Houston, that's
5
better
p.m. to
be-
7 p.m.
it better be inside some sort of convention center. But because if that's outside, I'm not going to be there.
No, it says the Houston Marriott of West Chase.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that sounds interesting.
100 vendors and 60 plus horror film screenings.
Ooh, excuse me.
Between
That'd be
$5
pretty
and $50 max. That's pretty dang good.
Dee Wallace was in one of the greatest werewolf movies ever made.
Sure was, The Howling, and that is on my list of reviews, by the way.
Yeah, it's got a fantastic ending. By the way, folks out there, if you like werewolf movies, watch The Howling. Do not watch any of the sequels or the remake. because
do
they're
that
all
too.
terrible, but the first one's really good.
The first one, let me tell you guys this: if the whole shifting in the werewolf, if it never scared you before, you might want to hold on to your seat because they don't hold back with those transformations. Not in the first one. Oh man,
Well, that the Howling came out within like a month of an American Werewolf in
Big one.
London, and the
Oh
guy
yeah,
who
so they
did the
had to
makeup
outdo
for the
it,
Howling was an apprentice of John Landis, or not John
right?
Landis, of the studio who did
This
that. Why can I not remember his name? He's a fucking legend. Um,
John Landis, by the way, is also
Ray
the
Winston, I
director.
think.
He's also the director of Thriller.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he couldn't do both movies at the time, so he sent his apprentice to go do the Howling, and that's some of the techniques that they use are similar, and the reason for that is because it's from the same studio, the same special effects house.
Yeah. Well, they did a damn good job
Mhm.
because that is
Yeah.
one of my favorite all-time movies. But yeah. So moving forward, um, guess that is pretty much it. Unless you've got something else going on.
Not particularly. We're just having a discussion about that. Suga, yeah, those were. I mean, that was like pop werewolves versus the metal from the Howling.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the werewolves from the underworld, they're no joke. Like I'm a big fan of their transformations. I'm also a fan of the one from Van Helsing, the one that Van Helsing turned into, not the others.
I like the designs. They did really
Yeah.
good with the designs and all that. I just don't get that same sense of,
No.
this is a dangerous beast from the underworld ones that I do from, like,
Well,
say,
it's not the same.
Eddie from the Howling, for example.
Yeah. Well, it's not the same because
Yeah.
especially when you pull in when you're looking at the one from Van Helsing, because all the werewolves that were in that one, they were reluctant. You know, the Howling, you're in a village full of people who, who were happy to be werewolves.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with the vampires, the death dealers, though. Like,
Yeah.
yes, they're definitely much more brutal than the ones in Twilight, for example. They're much more predatory than the ones in Twilight, but they're also all
And
still
sturdier too, I'd say.
pretty and well dressed, aristocrats, as opposed to, feral, monstrous, unforgiving, merciless, brutal creatures. Which is why I like 30 Days of Night so much, by the way.
I wasn't a fan of that.
I
I
loved it.
I just I don't know why maybe I'm a softie. I like the romantic vampire stuff, the aristocratic. I like all that. 30 Days a Night, they're just
They
they might as well be aliens. They those
No, they took vampires back to their Slavic roots. Feral creatures, brutal creatures, predators. Absolutely brutal and merciless. I
yeah.
love that about that because it flies in the face of all that shit that Anne Rice. Like, a lot of people credit Anne Rice with starting up that whole, like, romantic vampire shit. Honestly, it was Bram Stoker in the novel Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yes, he was a monster in that, but he was also very dapper and very charming and very seductive.
He was kind of humanized
Yeah, to a
in
degree.
a yeah, to a degree, just enough for you to identify in some part of him, depending on the situation. Where and just right when you would forget that he was a monster, he'd remind you that he was.
Yeah. And but then Anne Rice comes along and she takes that idea and she runs with it because, like, Lestat's the main character of her entire book series, right? Except for the
Hmm.
very first one, in which the story is being told by Louis, who is made by Lestat, and a lot of that has to do with him. Lestat takes over the series after that. He's
Yep.
the protagonist. Thing is, it glosses over, it glamorizes and glorifies what he is so much that you forget that he's a monster.
Hmm.
As you go along, and he does some horrific shit in those books, and so that sort of helped kind of pave the way for people like Stephanie fucking Meyer,
Yeah, for real.
who really, they don't die in the sunlight, they sparkle like fucking 7 Up.
Yeah, you know what? And all the other vampires, even the ones you don't like, they're a lot sturdier than the ones in Twilight. These guys are falling apart like porcelain. They get
Yeah.
clotheslined and they just break into pieces.
It's so. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Pride Month's over. It's so fucking gay. It is. It's just it. Everything about that, and then of course you get all the shit that came after that too. Like, I mean, 50 Shades of Grey is Twilight fan fiction, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all rape fantasy stuff. Like, to be fair, Dracula is also kind of rape fantasy, a little bit. The reason being is that at the time it was written or published in 1895, you were not allowed to write explicitly about sexual acts or anything like that under the rules of England at that time. So he used the act of the vampiric biting of the neck and sucking of the blood in place of rape, in place of sexually overpowering someone else, in place of dominating someone else. So that's really where that shit started. I mean, you could probably argue that it goes all the way back to I forget the name of the guy, but there was a poem that's often attributed to Lord Byron about a vampire. I think it's called The Vampire. Actually, he didn't write it. Another associate of his did, but that's kind of along those lines. And even the story Lenore by Edgar Allan Poe sort of has those kind of like, I wish you were here and not dead. Oh, look, there she is in my window kind of thing going on. But it didn't leave out the horror aspect or the fact that they were gone and no longer human. You know, yes, I do. Yeah, probably way too much. So, but like I said, I grew up reading like things like Nancy Garden's Vampires, which talks about all the old folklore and the cases of like people like Elizabeth Bathory and Vlad the Impaler and that sort of thing. Or even she wrote a book called Werewolves, which talked about a guy named Jean Grenier who was convicted of killing like 5 children and believed he was a wolf. Real dude, the real French trial. About 500 years ago.
Seeing as how you live, especially where you are, you could write a story or two about being in the backwoods of Wyoming.
Well, if we had any trees, that would be true.
How far? What was that place you called?
We've got overgrown shrubs that think they're trees.
Don't you have something called Devil's Rock or something over there?
Yeah, it's a ways away from where I am, but but yeah, there's a Devil's Tower. There are stories about that. Old stories that predate white men being here.
Wow.
Well, it's a sacred place for a lot of the Native American tribes in the area. They call it Bear Lodge because it supposedly houses the giant bear spirit. It's about the size of the mountain itself that lives in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's made up of a series of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hexagonal columns, right? And the natives' explanation for the reason that it looked the way it did, because it kind of looks like it's got these giant fucking claw marks all over it, was that giant bear chased 7 tribesmen who, it was going to catch and eat, and they prayed to the Great Spirit to save them, and he raised it up out of the ground, and the bear clawed at the rock trying to get to them. And then they say that they were saved, and I don't know how the fuck they got down. If the bear still lives in the rock, they don't really get into that kind of detail with the legend, but
I don't think they cared as long as they was living. I mean, whoever's
right,
getting chased, I'm sure they didn't give a
right. But there's no village or nothing up there, just eagles' nests. So, yeah, Beak. It was featured in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was also featured in Paul, with the alien and the 2 guys from Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. But yeah, and it's it's funny about that Close Encounters thing though. every year I've been out there a couple of times because there's a campground right outside of it, and every year in I forget if it's June or July, but for a month, every night they will show Close Encounters of the Third Kind on a screen at the campground with the actual Devil's Tower behind the screen.
Mm.
It's a very cool experience. Especially when the sky is clear and you can see all the fucking stars and shit.
Nice.
Yeah. Definitely worth doing if y'all ever find yourself out there.
Likely, we'll see. Nomi, what you got going on for I guess this week, next week? What you got going on?
I have nothing planned right now. I am finishing up a lot of details for starting my streaming,
Okay.
and yeah, I'll be doing live streaming pretty soon. I'm just
Yeah.
putting my ducks in a row. Got my little designs and backdrops set for it, so just be on the lookout for that. Next week will be a little weird because of what I shared with you earlier. This little girl of mine passing on, so I don't have anything planned right now. The best way to say it.
Yeah. I definitely understand that. Hey, look, you've got your plan and everything. Take your time. I mean, like I said, I'm definitely not one to judge. Right when I was getting ready to go live, right when I was getting ready to go hot, all kinds of stuff started happening. Um, Mr. Samuel, I know normally I do normally you do this, but I'll go ahead and ask you what you got going on.
Well, make sure you guys come back for tomorrow. We have a guest, a real live, worked in Hollywood for years guest tomorrow on Screaming Into the Void. Mr. Let me try that again. Mr. Corin Nemec will be joining us. It's been in a lot of stuff. We were talking about The Stand earlier. He was actually in that miniseries. He was in Stargate. Parker Lewis Can't Lose. The Mosquito Man. If you haven't seen that, it's so bad. It's so good. Just a lot of cool stuff. Yep, Harold Lauder. Absolutely. So he will be joining us to actually not discuss his career. If he brings it up, we'll talk about it. But he's coming because he seems to be on a similar awareness level in terms of the WEF and its influence and the problem that presents for the rest of us plebs. So we're going to be talking about that, New World Order stuff, that kind of thing. Maybe get into some Freemason stuff. I suspect he's a Freemason. So it should be fun.
Yeah, tomorrow's definitely going to be a good one. As for yours truly, like I said, I'm busy with my move, packing up, selling the house, got all kinds of stuff going on. Hopefully, I would like to be there tomorrow. If I'm not, then then I'm not. It is what it is. But I do plan on being on tomorrow for a while. Um, I'll be here, of course, next week with my hosts, Nomi, without you, and Samuel for president. And like I said, guys, the gaming stream is coming. It's just with me, it's just gonna take longer than I thought it was gonna take. But what I'm doing right now is definitely necessary, and I'll be a lot better off for it. So asking him to say "Don't screw it," yeah, Clue.
I kind of want to now, but I'd have to clear it with him backstage first. I don't know. We'll see, Clue. Although I will also say, Clue, you are in the Twitter group chat for that. So if you are free and want to be part of that conversation, by all means.
Yeah. I want to attend just to see Cat flip.
She knows he's coming.
Yeah, no, but still, you can't tell me that she's not gonna geek
Oh
out.
yeah, she's probably gonna be dumbstruck. No.
Yeah, that alone's gonna make it worth it.
4 p.m. Mountain Time. well, maybe a few minutes earlier that you know, I'd like to gather people there so we can cover whatever we need to cover before we go live, like, you know, what we can and can't talk about with the guy and all that, because he's taking his time to come hang out with us. So, you know,
Yeah.
I will probably cut back on the dick jokes for now.
Oh, and hopefully, guys, for me, somewhere down the line, and this is probably wishful thinking, but hopefully, we can all get some group gaming streams together. There were some YouTubers that I used to follow, and now I know how they were all doing it, where they were all joint streaming, and they were all playing, they were all playing video games and stuff, together. They were playing PC games and things where they were going into groups, and sometimes they were on the same team, sometimes they weren't. But um, ideally, that's something I would like to do with you guys somewhere down the line. Um, we'll see. But there's plenty of PC games out there that don't cost anything, where you could play card games like Uno. I think it's like $5 on Steam, but they have a thing where the cars explode. They have special effects, all kinds of stuff with them. So, but yeah, I mean, ideally, guys, down the line, that's something that I'd like to do. But in the Josh, why are you laughing? But in the meantime, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, fair enough. And also, don't. Hopefully, this week we'll be able to finish up the card on Sundays on Star Trek Engage. Just, you know, so we can get into the next thing there. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly for that. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned for that one. We'll see. That said, otherwise we'll see you back here next Friday. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to both of my wonderful co-panelists and co-hosts. And that said, is there any other parting comments we want to make before I hit the thing and do the thing?
Ladies
No.
first.
I'm at peace.
All right, fair
I'm all
enough.
good.
All right then. Well, again, it could always be worse. YouTube, remember, could be raining flaming covers.